My name is Ian Walsh with Hard Money Bankers, and today, or second day, joined with Josh Weidman, TCS Investments, Turnkey Philly. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure to be here.
So as we kind of went over in the first video, we went over your background and the investment model and so forth. Mm-hmm. This video, you had asked me to kind of discuss, and I wasn't sure, so you'll have to elaborate.
Sure.
Give me what you mean by the difference between an asset and a property.
Okay, so most of the time when people are thinking about investing in a piece of real estate, they think they're buying an asset, but what they're really buying is a property. And here's the major difference between that. First-time investors especially are looking at a rental and they're saying, well, how tough can it be? You buy a piece of property, you throw a tenant in there, hey, they're going to pay my rent for the next 30 years, or my mortgage for the next 30 years. It's great. But then what they run into is, hey, in the first month of occupancy, the heater goes, conks out, and they might have been making $300 or $500 a month on cash flow, and all of a sudden 6 months of cash flow is wiped out. They got to replace the heater. Month 2 comes along and the roof starts leaking, and oh my goodness, I got to replace the roof. It's another 4 months, and these type of unexpected expenses. Now all of a sudden you don't have an asset, you have a liability. You bought a property instead of buying an actual investment. When we look at an asset and what we sell to our clients and what we provide to our clients, we're looking at a hands-free investment that is something that they can buy. They can, you've seen on TV, set it and forget it. Mm-hmm. That's the whole idea. They're buying a product and a project. Okay, we source properties for them in very specific areas where we know that, number one, we can find good tenants, we can get really strong rents in areas that are appreciating in value, and also that areas that have a decent amount of renovations and a high number of owner occupants. And so what that does is it gives us a really good appraisal number, so our clients can pull a lot, if not most of their money out of the initial investment. They can leverage that money and increase their return. Then after we locate these properties, the next step is to renovate them. And it's pretty darn extensive renovations. The main reason for this is that we want to limit or eliminate short, medium, and long-term maintenance. We want to attract the best tenants, so we want the place to look nice and operate well. We want to keep the tenants in place as long as possible, because the more a tenant or a property turns over, the higher the vacancy rate, the lower the return. And then last, when the tenant actually does leave, we're doing repairs that are focused on limiting or eliminating the cost of turnovers, so that our turnover time frame can be 2 or 3 days instead of 3, 4, 8 weeks to get a property ready to rent, and then you got to lease it again. So the goal here is to keep the returns excellent, provide a great place for tenants to live, and a place that, let's face it, the landlord's not going to be ashamed of and be ducking away from, and really at the end of the day provide a quality and predictable investment that's going to continue to produce a return. So that's the main difference that I look at on an asset versus any property that you can buy on.
That's interesting. I've never in this business really thought of it in that way, quite frankly, but when you phrase it that way, yeah, there's a lot of hidden things being a manager, or if you buy a property as opposed to an asset, that people kind of trick themselves with, and they say, oh, I'll just buy it at this price and we'll put some lipstick on a pig and it'll be good.
Yep.
And then, like you said, it's 6 months down the road, here's $5,000. 6 months down the road, there's another $5,000. You look back a year and you go, I might as well have just paid another $10,000 for the property. Yep. And the problem there is you don't set your own expectations correctly, if I'm hearing this right. Sure. And you're blindsiding yourself constantly because you should have done it a certain way up front.
Well, and it's not just the unexpected maintenance. If you're renting a property, most people that are leasing a house, they don't want to be bothered. The last thing they want is to call up the landlord or the management company and harass them. Oh man, my roof's leaking. What's the problem? What's going on? They just want to enjoy the place where they live. They want a nice place that they can set up and call their home, and they can live their life and worry about their family and their kids and their job. They don't want to have to worry about a property breaking down every time that they're every time they turn their head.
Sure, it's a brand, it's a quality, and I understand that's a big deal. So appreciate it, and we'll jump into a few more videos as we have going here.
Awesome,
Great, good.